Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Dare to Dream. I'm your host, Graham Williamson, international medical intuitive, medium, evidential medium, and psychic. And I want to welcome you. Today, I've got a more serious topic. It's about people that are past or death. And I'm not being negative about it. You see, we're all going to be going through this transition. Every single one of us. Any living creature goes through it. But you've got to remember, your life is a journey. Your experiences matter to you. And the whole point of life is to experience things. It's not about the ending that we miss, it's the physicality that we miss of those that have gone before us. And that's right. It's understandable. Now, if you looked at the forward of my show today, unfortunately, my wife's brother, who I've known for 21 years, passed away. But this is a story I want to share with you. He had a cancer on his nose. And when the doctor took a biopsy of it, it flared up into cancer. It actually stimulated what was in that boil or spot, whatever it was, and it became a cancer, and he lost his nose, his gums, or his teeth, both sets. But the cancer didn't go into him, it went over his bones. And the doctor at first didn't really want to operate on him. And the doctor told my brother-in-law that I can't do this. My wife said to the doctor, the surgeon, you can't say no now. He's having his operation tomorrow. It was a 13-hour operation. He survived. He ended up having, what do you call it? Air tube in his throat. I forget the name of it. Tracheotomy. Thank you, Tony. The tracheotomy. He had a tube put in. And the doctor said to him after he recovered from his surgery, you won't be able to talk for a while because you got this. And he just looked at him and went, pardon? Why not? He talked. And what? He's not supposed to do that. Evidently, as a child, he studied a little bit of ventriloquism and the technique.
Yes.
And he did it. And that somehow he was able to do when he had the trach in his throat. He didn't have to cover it or nothing. He just spoke normal. His life changed. On the operating table, he didn't believe in spirit much. He didn't believe in God much. He was a cowboy. We loved him to death. He was the first real cowboy I've met. But he didn't believe in God. Didn't believe in divine. Not much. Just, yeah, layman, okay, fine. But he said when he recovered from his operation, 13 hours, he says he remembered looking up, looking down from being up in the ceiling, and he heard a voice. And it was to come back to look after his granddaughter. And he did. He came back. His whole attitude then changed from negative towards spirit and God. He was watching Joel Osteen every Sunday, and the messages Joel's there, and he looked at me differently, and he looked at his sister differently. He looked at life differently. He became a real beautiful soul. But he let it out. His soul came out. He shared his true feelings. Then 8 years later, he got colon cancer, rectal cancer, stage 4. My wife knew about a year ago that something was going wrong. Now, I'm all right. Now, just quick, I'll be all right. Something I'm eating, because he didn't have teeth. He had to have all his food almost in liquid form. He said, there's something I've eaten or something. Made excuses. But he changed, went backwards. And yeah, this is a story about my brother-in-law. But it's very relevant to what I do. He became negative for a bit. because we found out the pain was getting too much for him. He went on to chemo, and that made him worse. The medication made him worse. And he was losing spirit within himself. It sounds all depressing, but there is good news. He didn't think he should survive much longer. And about a month ago, he said, I can't cope with this. The pain's too much. And I do sympathize with him. And those that are going through all this cancer, it is a horrible disease. But there's light at the end of a dark tunnel. He was going to come up and visit my wife and I. And the last conversation I had with him, saying he had a surprise for us. And something else than the surprise. But he never made it. He was killed. Well, he was involved in a serious car accident on the 15th. And he passed 8.5 hours later on the 16th. But while we were at the hospital with him, after we got an unusual call from a hospital in Orlando saying, are you coming to visit your brother who's been involved in an accident? You don't have to rush. And this was the pastor. What? So we legged it down there. We got down there. We were there for 8.5 hours. And we saw my brother-in-law pass. But in his passing, as his body was non-responsive, we had DNR on him, do not resuscitate. I saw something that defied what the doctors had told me. I saw his jaw move. I'm sorry, there's no physical way he could have done it because of the severity of his injury on his head. But I saw something. His jaw moved. Then he did it again, but I saw something else as well. I saw something moving into his head. Sounds weird, but it was his spirit returning. And when he returned into his body, his jaw moved. Did it twice. And then the doctors were coming around. They're fantastic doctors at this hospital. The nurses, doctors, everybody, the police, everybody was fantastic. They were there, they were listening, they were caring, the empathy. It was beyond words. But the doctors just come in, and I said, he keeps coming back in and out of his body. His spirit is still alive. And the doctor's looking at me. I said, look, watch. His jaw moved again. I saw the spirit coming back into the body. The doctors were amazed. Then he did it again. And I said it before he moved his jaw. He's coming back again. And his jaw moved. Astonished the doctors. Now with DNR, under a certain severity of injury, they don't do life-preserving treatment on the patient. They make the patient pain-free and as comfortable as possible. And this hospital did a fantastic job. But they say normally it takes an hour, hour and a half with this sort of severity of injury. 8.5 hours. He was unconscious. He was in a coma. But he could hear. Because his spirit was active. And when they took the tube to unblock his airway out, it took him 2.5 hours to pass. But he was hanging on for a reason. He was hanging on for his daughter, one of his daughters to get to. 5 minutes after she got there, he passed. And I looked at the clock and it said 5:07 on my phone. And I'd asked him before he passed, please don't be here for your stepdaughter. It would kill her. It would break her heart. And that sounds a bit selfish on my part, but it wasn't. I knew the love Roy, his name's Roy, had for all his family. And it's the way you deal with death that matters. He didn't want them to suffer, but he wanted his daughter to be, one of his daughters to be with him to say, I love you. I know you're with me at my time. And the other one, he wanted to say, I'm around you now. It's less pain for you. Because death isn't the end of the spirit. I'm not going into philosophical or religious aspects of it. I'm a medium. I'm a spiritualist medium. I'm an evidential medium. I'm also an intuitive medical intuitive, and a psychic. I've seen spirit around, which is why I know beyond doubt that our bodies may cease functioning or die, but not the person inside. And the hurt that we feel is the physicality of losing a loved one. But stop thinking only of the day they parted, or the dead, or the dead, or the dead. That is one key point, but you've got a lifetime before that key point. That's what matters, the journey. And this is why, as a medium, and my friend Ray there, thanks Ray, she reads cards, I read people. And we've just done a 2-hour show talking about it, about spirit and cards, angel cards. You see, those of us that know our ability of understanding spirit and the change called death, it's fundamental to every single living creature on this earth. My brother-in-law passed, but he's left a legacy of happy memories. Yes, some painful, because it's a pain in the butt sometimes, as we say here in America. And yes, I've lived here for 21 years. But I'm a British guy born through and through. But he was the first real cowboy I've ever met. Think about it. The cowboy hat, the horse, the guns, getting his nieces on a horse with him, friends, family on a horse when he was a youngster. He's got so many memories. And my wife loves telling me stories about it. And he told me stories. Yeah, being a cowboy, similar to a sailor, he's got a little bit of a colourful terminology and ideas of the storytelling, but his heart was good. And death does hurt. We're all afraid of it. We're all afraid of dying. But I think the term should be changed slightly. It's how we're going to pass that scares us, that hurts us. Because I tell you, the minute I know I'm no longer a functioning human being, I want to be up there, because then I'm free. No pain, no bills, no hassle. Travel where I want, when I want, how I want. Back in time, forward, whatever it is I can do, I'm going to do it. But I'm enjoying my journey now to the best of my ability. And part of it is coming on to Dare to Dream on the Going Solo Media Network. This is WGSN-DB Going Solo Network and Radio, TV and podcasts. And it's Going Bold Wednesday. #1 internet singles talk show. My friend Cece, the producer, she has laid out a foundation that will pass well into the next realm of existence, because her heart, her journey has helped me be here to talk about many topics. I'm your host on Dare to Dream, Graham Williamson, international medical intuitive, evidential medium and psychic. And if you want to make a comment or want a reading or need to contact me in any form or another, I've got the email of thebrit77, that's THEBRITT77 at hotmail.com, or my website, which I post various bits and pieces on there, as Medium Graham Williamson online, .online. That's Medium Graham, GRAHAM Williamson, all one word, .online for my website. But if you need to call me on 352-409-1060. That's Florida, USA. Leave a voicemail, because I don't respond to just the phone ringing, not in today's society. because I've learned that people ring for many reasons. If it's important, they'll leave a message. You see, we leave messages in our lives, in our actions. Walking the journey that you do is preparing you for that change called death. You have to experience as much as you can that makes you happy, not miserable, not sad. I know there's a lot of us that have been through trauma, and I'm a recovered alcoholic. I've been married a couple of times before. I failed. But because of those failures, I changed. And I feel for the better. I've been married now for 21 years. I came here to visit somebody I'd met on the internet. And this lady in my life is phenomenal. And I'm not putting her on a pedestal. She's right next to me, side by side, like her brother was to her, side by side. They talk for hours, almost every day, especially in the latter stages of his life, because they understood each other. He could say anything to his sister and her to her brother. The legacy he's left is phenomenal. And when he passed, the colour yellow became really important to Sandy, my wife. Didn't understand why. I didn't. She did. And she remembered the colour yellow for a reason. The dandelion flower. Look up the spiritual and metaphysical reason of why the dandelion flower is important. And my brother-in-law Roy was the perfect showpiece for that flower. He actually been married once before. He got married in a yellow suit. Yeah, I thought, whoa, hang on a minute. Yellow? But yellow. He loved the colour. But think about what the colour yellow means to you. The sun, every morning, gets up, warms everybody up, goes to bed at night, recharges, starts again the following day. That was it. And also, he was a hunter. Being a cowboy, he would be, wouldn't he? But he had abilities far beyond most people who did what he did. I was talking to one of his relatives, the celebration life we had on Sunday. And he said, I've never known anybody like him. He was like a ghost in the woods. He said, I'll be back in a bit. Disappear. You wouldn't hear him. You wouldn't see him unless he wanted you to see or hear him. Think about it. Can you walk in any wooded area and not be heard and not be seen? But when he wanted you to know he was there, he made it very plain. I'm here. He took no BS from anybody. He was, if he said it, he did it. And that's one of the things I love about him. Still do. And I want to honour his memory by the show today. On my own Dare to Dream, I'm your host, Graham Williamson, international medical intuitive, evidential medium, and psychic. And I'm on WGSN-DB Going Solo network and radio, TV and podcasts. #1 internet singles talk network, and Going Bold Wednesday. The going bold is important to me. It's not going alone, even though it says going solo media. It doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means standing up for yourself. My brother-in-law stood up for himself. He was the biggest flirt I've ever met, next to myself. My wife will tell you I'm a big flirt. But I'm not flirting. I'm making people laugh. I'm making people smile from inside. And so did my brother-in-law. He made people smile. Even when he'd lost his face here, he had skin grafts and it all changed. He had no nose, no teeth. And he was joking around with people. They loved him, the ladies. And when they saw his pictures, they went, hey, did you know he was really handsome? And they keep on telling his sister, you know, your brother was really handsome. He said, "It's my brother." Of course he is. But you see, this is what death can be eased of pain by remembering those fun things, remembering who he is, not who he was. I'm not talking about, oh, I could see him here, he's right in front of me. Oh, yeah, sometimes I can. But for the layman, an everyday sort of person, you don't, or you choose not to. Like you see, everybody's psychic to a degree. You know when you feel comfortable when you meet somebody, oh, something's wrong here, or you walk into a room, oh, no, or, oh, yeah, I like it. Or a colour makes you feel comfortable. Like I've got all these colours behind me, all to do with wood and the rainbow. I can never do it. There we go. That's it. My grandson's rainbow. And my mum's Dare to Dream tapestry. And my family. You see, all these things are from my past. All those things are connected. And I just want you to think about this. Are you enjoying your journey of your life now? We're going to take a short break. And I'll give you a couple of answers. Okay. See you shortly. Hey, Sandy, she's got your locket. You got my phone, Sandy? I've just had a bit of a shock. I was looking at those adverts at the jewelry, and there, the top row, middle, well, the top row in the middle, there was a silver and blue stone locket. My wife had 8 of those for the ashes of my brother-in-law. Never ceases to amaze me. You see, spirit will connect with you 24/7. In fact, they do their own timescale different to us. But I ask you a question about your journey. Are you enjoying your journey? Because no matter what you do, you always have a choice. Yeah, some of the choices are not easy. They're downright painful. I've been there. Being a recovered alcoholic, I know that. It's pain. Seeing people with illnesses, cancer especially, it's painful. But it's how you deal with it. You see, this isn't a miserable show. It's a realistic show. It's coming from my heart, what I've just experienced with my wife and family. We had 30 guests that came to celebrate my brother-in-law's life. We were having a hoot and a holler. The food could have fed 70 people easily. We took 10 pounds just about of pulled pork in barbecue sauce. It was brilliant. We did it ourselves. And beans and tea. Unusual tea here. It's called iced tea. I don't drink it. But I'm having a laugh about it because everybody else enjoys it. I just drink water or make my own juice. You see, my journey is about looking after myself, about my spiritual self. Not hiding my light, not hiding what's within me. I'm not a shallow person. This is what you get 24/7. I'm serious, I'm fun, I'm laughter. I go gardening or create things out of wood or clean or whatever's needed at the time. Also look after veterans every Tuesday at the Combat Cafe in my local town. For those that have actually been in battle and seen their loved ones pass, believe it or not, they really are brothers and sisters in arms. And I do say brother and sister deeply because my best friend took my place and took my ship and went to the Falklands and never came back. So I'm living my journey because he died in my place. He had my ship, my job. He took it from behind my back. Now, you could say I'm lucky. Yes, I am. But also I want to honour those people I loved, my friends, my family who have passed before me. I want to make their life alive today because they gave me the chance to live today. And I'll be doing them a disservice. Think about it. You will join your loved ones, those that mean something in your heart, when you pass. But are you going to be miserable about it? Oh, he was my life, or she was my life. I had an animal, a hamster. His name was Rincewind. A vet gave him me when he was a teeny little thing. And I looked after that hamster. One day I came back from work, I was a security officer for a big firm in England. And I found him passed out, hanging off the centre of his big 3-tier cage. I rushed into the vet saying, what's up with it? He did blood tests and said, I'm going to have to phone the police. What? He said, your hamster's doped out of his skull. He's out. And I said, I work for the drug squad. I don't take drugs. I find out who's done. Then talked to some friends in the police force, and we found out I was in a rented accommodation, first floor up. In England, first floor is ground floor. The people in the ground floor, when at night, and I was working nights, were smoking. And all the fumes were going up the chimney and past my chimney. And the fumes were right on my hamster's cage. And he was high as a kite. He lived for 3.5 years. Seriously. I think whatever he was smoking preserved him longer than most creatures. But when he passed, I had 3 days off work. When I lost a dog here in America, the cat, I was terrible for 3 days. I couldn't function. My dog, my cat, I can't function because they were a part of me. And yet I physically felt the pain. But then I realized hang on, I can still see them. I can still talk to them. Think about it. I can still talk to them. When my mother passed, I spoke to her the night before she passed, and she knew she wouldn't survive the operation she was due to have. I spoke to her for 2 solid hours. When we told her, she knew she wasn't going to survive. She wasn't being macabre or anything. She just knew she had to have the operation or die painfully, or have the operation and die on the table. That was a choice. She didn't want to die in pain, so she took the operation. She didn't survive. But within an hour of her passing, my wife was woken up with her favourite scent, or the scent that I know reflects my mother. It's called lilac. My wife didn't know that at the time. So when she told me there's an unusual scent, I told her lilac. So yeah, that's it. How did you know? Well, that's my mum's fire. So death hurts. It will hurt. But are you going to live in the hurt or live in honour of their memory? And like going solo media, you've got to stand up and say, I knew somebody on this earth that made me what I am today. I know those people that passed before me want you to understand their story. You're the only one that can share it, your version. But unless you share it, you're not honouring them. Yeah, some people, you think, well, I'm glad he's gone or she's gone. But think about it. Even the negative people deserve to be remembered in a positive way. Aren't you glad you're not like them? I was a cashier at a firm here for 17 years. I didn't do it solid 17 years as a cashier, but my last 8 years I did. And I used to get customers coming down, and some of them were in real angry, negative thing. And I had a technique. When they came down my register, and I'd hear them moaning and groaning and angry, and I'd say, hey, thank you, mate, thank you. Oh, you just made my day. And they look at you and go, what the hell are you talking about? I said, I thought I was in a bad mood until I met you today. Oh, you make me feel great now. And I go, what? Think about it. Their negativity made me more positive. And I shared it back to them. And they changed their attitude. All left. I didn't care. It made me happier knowing I wasn't like them. Or I'm better because of them. The death hurt part is because, I can't talk to them. I can't hug them. I can't be with them. They're more inside you now than ever before. In your memory, in your heart, in your spirit, your energy. Because you will be long time dead. But how long have you been on this earth? Are you making your journey worthwhile? Are you sharing the positivity? Or are you trapped? If you're trapped, you can do something about it. If you're watching this show, you can connect with us on Going Solo Media. Now, I'm your host of Dare to Dream. My name's Graham Williamson. I'm an international medical, intuitive, evidential medium and psychic. I understand you on the spirit level and the psychic level. And if you want to contact me, you can contact me via my email, which is thebrit77@hotmail.com. And my website is Medium Graham Williamson, all one word, Medium Graham Williamson .online. But if you want to contact me and set up a range for reading or whatever, or just counsel or whatever you want to do, call me on 352-409-1060. Leave a voice message, okay? Because that's important. I will help you as best I can or pass you on to somebody that can help you better. But this website, the goingsolomedia.com, Going Bold Wednesday, is one of many means of which you can communicate to other like-minded people for whatever stress you're going through, whatever situation you're doing. We are all here to help you. Mine's Dare to Dream. That picture behind me is a hand sampler my mother gave me, her last gift, physical gift. And I've always followed my dreams. I live them. I've chosen many wrong paths, but I've also chosen many good paths. Because I know when I die, I've made a hell of an impact on people, even if they go, he was silly as hell, but he made me smile. And I'm a father. I've got a son and a daughter in England, and I've got a grandson in England. I've got 2 grandsons in England. I've got a stepdaughter in England who's now got suddenly a family with her boyfriend. I've got a daughter here, a stepdaughter here. And she's got an instant family as well, and a boyfriend. And I've got 2 sisters here, and a brother here. I've got siblings in England, 3 sisters and a brother over there. So I'm touching so many souls. But through my show on Dare to Dream, being your host today, it's about death hurts. It will hurt. But remember, when you feel pain, it means that your body's saying, I'm alive and I'm going to live. You choose whether to succumb to that pain or fight it. Think about it. You can only do the best you can. Sometimes you'll win, sometimes you'll lose. You'll live or you will die. But we're all going to die anyway. But it's what you do in the journey prior to that moment. Did you do the best you could? Did you go solo and stand up and say, hey there, everybody, I'm standing here and I'm going to give you this. Not take, give. I'm as crazy to cook, but have fun doing it. As I said to my friends on the previous show I did, that I was called one of the biggest kids he's ever met by a security officer at Disney on my 50th birthday. And I wasn't insulted. I felt really chuffed as punch, because being an adult is a lot of responsibility. So is being a kid. But I've learned to mix them both together and enjoy my life the best I can, because I know death hurts. But not me that'll be hurting when I die. It's my loved ones. I want to leave all my loved ones, all my friends, all the happiness thoughts I can give them. I want to cry my eyes out. I'm telling you this. My brother-in-law who passed last month, he made me laugh. He made me feel loved. And he loved so many people. And yeah, we hurt because he's gone physically. But I don't feel pain, heartache, sadness, negativity of his passing. That cancer was killing him. The chemo was killing him. And the pain meds were killing him. I thought medicine was to help improve somebody's life with no side effects. I think I'm wrong in this day and age. So the spirit is more important. And another quick story. I knew a quadriplegic that used to come into my store. And the first time I met him, he had his wife and his children with him. And I could see by his eyes, he was very alert, very there. And I was serving on the register and I told everybody, hang on a minute, I've got to go and talk to this guy in the chair. And I called him the laziest piece of S, you can think of the word, a negative. You're a lazy piece of, that was my opening gambit to him. I said, you can do all this, you're just being damn lazy. I can get somebody to help you do your shopping. Told his wife, take your kids, disappear for 2 hours. I'm going to get somebody to help him do the shopping. You're not, go, leave. And she did. A couple of hours later, she came back, went, this happened for 2 or 3 months. Then he stopped coming. A month later. I was called into the office thinking I'd done something wrong. I've told this story before, but I'm telling it again because it's important. I was pulled into the office and the district manager was there and the store manager and a woman. And when this woman turned around, it's my friend's wife. And what she did is hand me a letter. And on that letter it says, "Thank you. You made me feel a whole man again. You gave me my dignity back to me." And I felt so humbled. And yeah, I'm crying. Because I didn't do it for that. I did it for him. Not for me. I didn't want praise. And I will remember that, Mike, for the rest of my life. And when I pass up, I'm going to give him the biggest hug you've ever seen a man give a man. Because he proved my point. It's what could I give him? I gave him his dignity back. You see, death does hurt, but not for long. Or you can wallow in it. Think about it. You know, I help veterans who've been to war in Vietnam. One guy had this hat that was all about Vietnam, all negative. I said, no, stop living in the negative. You did a job, you saved lives. You have to take lives to save many. That's war. And I'm not being flippant about it. I'm a Royal Navy, 14.5 years, 71 to 1986. I was a cook though. I did first aid. I was good at it. I help people. But I respect those that have served and serving in any nation, as long as your heart's in it for your nation. That's honourable. War isn't. Death isn't. Death's not honourable. But what can you do with it? Well, I chose to talk to spirit and help them rest. I'm called a rescue medium as well. I see those that have died in torment and living in a world of their own minds, own spirit, lost, not going to God, isolated. But that's what people on this earth do when they lose a loved one. They become isolated. Don't be. There's many avenues. Please come on this wonderful network because we're here to help you in whatever way we can. I don't profess to know all the answers. None of my friends or hosts here know all the answers, but they know some. And those some could help you enjoy your journey better. Now, the show finishes shortly, but I want you to remember this show, Dare to Dream. I'm your host, Graham Williamson. I'm an evidential medical medium and psychic. I'm here to help you. So if you want to contact me, ask a question, guidance, readings, whatever, email me on thebrit77, that's THEBRITT77 at hotmail.com. Go and look at my website. That's Medium Graham Williamson, all one word, .online. Or contact me by phone on 352-409-1060 and leave a voice message. And I live in Florida, USA. And I'll do my best to help you. My next show, thank you, Susie, is April 27th at 5 p.m. EST. That's 10 p.m. GMT for those friends in England. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening to me. And make the most of your journey now. Death doesn't have to hurt forever. You choose the path you want to go. I want you to enjoy your journey to the best of your ability. And I will see you again in a couple of weeks on the 27th. And I really want to thank you for being here. It's made my show better. And if you want to leave a voice message or text, do so. Like, share, comment. Because the more people we touch, the better our journey is going to be. And thank you.